contracting out our work. Those days are over. When you're spending $6.3 billion in contracts, and you're gonna come to the table and tell us, we ain't got no money. That's not okay. Are you gonna buy that? No! Are you gonna buy that?
No! I'm Kristin Hardy, San Francisco Regional Vice President for 10 to 1. It's unlimited numbers of money going to support this war effort, but they can't even take care of the workers that's keeping the communities going and taking care of the people that live here. Hopefully the politicians do what's right. We've been short-staffed. We're fighting for ourselves, to make sure that we can provide for San Francisco as a city and the community as well out here. So, the dollars and the deficits that all these local governments are claiming that they have, if they would stop aiding this war and start taking care of home and maybe taking care of other communities too, then the world might be a better place.
One of the issues I know that your union's brought up and is a major issue is outsourcing. They say there's a shortage of staff. There were 1,000 workers who were fired for not taking the vaccine, and nonprofits are shifting money. I mean, the Civil Service Commission approves millions, hundreds of millions of dollars going to nonprofits who are doing the same work that city workers are doing.
Exactly. The nonprofits, there's no oversight, so there's nobody really to hold these people accountable on if the services are being done. And as far as the contracting out, the city's claiming that they're in a deficit and they're paying billions of dollars to bring outside contractors in to do public service work, which they actually have almost 5,000 vacancies where they should be hiring instead of trying to fix the problem with a Band-Aid by hiring some outside contractors that's probably not even halfway skilled to do the work that needs to be done to support the communities out here, and the funding that's being snatched away from services that they promised to provide, like the facility for safe using that they had approved, and the funding ended up getting taken away. Services are being wiped out left and right, and we're scared for the public sector as far as the budget cuts and the staffing breakdown in the budget reduction that the mayor is ordering, that it might cause a shortage in staffing on top of what we're already dealing with, which could be critical.
And with this kind of money, and you're talking billions, how could it be that there's no oversight, there's no understanding or report on what's going on in these nonprofits and these people that are being outsourced?
That's a good question. So, the nonprofit world, hopefully the voters of San Francisco and get tired of, and want to see some accountability on where our dollars are going while we're investing in these nonprofits. But when it comes to these contracts, the good thing is that, a lot of the members and a lot of local unions that represent these affected members where their jobs are being contracted out have been showing up to civil service to combat these contracts, to make the department speak up. Because at first it seems like they were just sliding through the cracks, nobody was aware, and they were just getting approved left and right. So now we're aware, we're trying to get a handle on it and keep the jobs in the local people with skilled people that know how to do the jobs. And as far as, the city laying off folks, we have skilled, trained people that have been with the city for over decades, and because of a religious decision or a personal or medical decision that they had to based on their health, we have people that are skilled that can come to work and start working tomorrow. But the city refuses to work with the local unions that represent these folks to come up with some type of solution in certain departments. If not, they want to make them start from ground zero, which we do not feel is right. So we are still going through legal battles, trying to fight for the rights of our members to bring those folks back and fill in some of these gaps, because it's been a struggle keeping the city rolling with one person doing a three-man job.
And you also have these business districts in San Francisco where they hire people, clean streets, do city work, and there's substandard wages, conditions, $17, $18 an hour. How do you live in San Francisco with those kind of wages? And that's really public work.
That's a great question. They're exploiting these young men, these people that probably don't have the background to get any type of other form of employment. So they're offering them, a $20 pay rate, and they might not get a pay increase. They might get a $1 pay increase over 5-6 years. But because there's no standards, there's no union behind them, they really don't know their rights. And when you're coming from nothing, that little $20, even though you can't hardly live on, that's something for somebody that has nothing. So they're really exploiting these folks that really don't know their rights or their worker rights or what they are capable of making in the real world. So, that's a problem. And while the city is still funding these contracts, it's just bringing more and more people into the area to do these, these low paying jobs where they actually should be getting paid more or be trained to be more skilled in their position.
And the city is saying that they have an $800 million deficit. And I know in the past when there's a big problem with the deficit, the first people they go to are the city workers, their pension, their health care benefits. Are you concerned about them trying to take out this financial situation on the backs of city workers?
Oh, we're definitely concerned, Steve. We're definitely concerned. The budget cuts originally started off department-wide 3%. Another 10% was ordered on top of that. At the same time, the controller is in the middle of change while we're in the biggest contract fight. So we don't know what we're up against. But the one good thing that we do have on our side is that we do have the right to strike. So if they try and screw our people, trust and believe we're coming hard this year. We're coming real hard. This is a severe fight. We're coming out of the pandemic. We laid down and we made agreements and took concessions and delayed our raises to help keep the city running. And we expect the city to take care of our workers just like we took care of the city when they were in the time of need.
And there were city workers, Ludwig, who died. They weren't given proper PPE, by the city, and they were on the front lines. They were trying to help people at the hospitals and others. It seems like there's no recognition of that by the city, that a lot of public workers died because of doing their job and trying to protect the public.
Yeah, and as me being working at the hospital, I was on the front line too. Ludwig was a strong member leader, was on one of our bargaining teams. That's why a lot of the unions and a lot of the community allies that we work with had to step in and try and call our resources, and we were providing PPE where the employers should have been providing to make sure that their workers are safe to do the work that they need done. But yeah, it got real critical. The resources were real slim, and a lot of our members, we did lose a lot of members and soldiers during that time, which was real sad for us, and it was a real hard time.
So you're having a rally today. There are going to be workers from all the unions. It seems like there's more unity now of public workers about these issues of privatization, outsourcing. It's growing, and people are going to get educated about it.
Yeah, so we have a coalition join the Public Employee Committee, which is a coalition of all labor unions within San Francisco that represent public sector workers. So we're united, and we got a good COLA, the largest COLA that we've seen in union history in the last 10 years. So we're going to keep it going, and we're keeping the fight.
And there's a rally out here today around the charges against people for blocking the bridge, and you're going to be speaking here?
Yes, 10 to 1, and as being a San Francisco resident, definitely are out here to support all the protesters out here in the ceasefire. Our local has has encouraged a resolution. Our board of supervisors out here in San Francisco has also almost unanimously passed a resolution as well. So we're here standing in solidarity with the community and the allies.
And what's going on there with U.S.-supported weapons and bombs in Gaza? They're bombing hospitals, healthcare workers. Your local represents many healthcare workers. What's the feeling among workers here, healthcare workers, about what's going on there?
It is sad for us to see, as me being a worker out of San Francisco General Chapter, sad to see that, while the care of patients and children and families and, just innocent victims are being part of this attack that's going on, it's becoming more of a political warfare, and, we are encouraging the ceasefire, let these nations rest, let these communities get back together and try and regain some type of sense of community. But it's too many killings going on right now. So we're out here in any solidarity that we can do to encourage all politicians, everybody, that this is not just Israel or whatever type of war. This is a us war. It's all hands on deck. This is affecting all communities, no matter where you live.
And the situation for healthcare workers in this country, the homeless, people dying in the streets, it seems like the priority, trillions for war, seems an unlimited budget to send more money for wars. What's going on?
I'm glad you asked that, Steve. You know, just as being a healthcare worker and as we're standing here today in solidarity with the ceasefire movement, we also have a rally for the fight of our lives out here for our contracts. So just like you said, like, you know, it's unlimited numbers of money going to support this war effort, but they can't even take care of the workers that's keeping the communities going and taking care of
Yourself?
Josh Vallis, business rep with Sheet Metal Workers Local 104.
So what's going on here today?
This is a rally for the city and county of San Francisco, just as like a showing support for the labor movement that's going on. They want to furlough some jobs, and we're going to kickstart the contract negotiations for the city and workers of San Francisco.
And there's been an issue of staffing, outsourcing, privatization. Are you concerned about those issues?
Absolutely, that's why we're here today.
Talk specifically about what your concerns are.
The furloughing of jobs, the deficit that we're in, the lack of building that's going on, and the lack of accountability with the city officials who are in charge today.
And the maintenance of the facilities, when they put you off or lay you off, what happens to the maintenance of public spaces?
It all goes downhill. If they furlough a lot of these jobs, the infrastructure of San Francisco is going to go down the drain, and it's going to be bad.
And they blame who's responsible?
Well, your guess is as good as mine.
Well, I mean, it seems like they have money, billions of dollars for nonprofits, for consultants, outsourcing. Is that part of the problem?
That is a big part of the problem. We need to invest more in our communities here and not outsource it, and we need to invest in the infrastructure of San Francisco, and that includes the working members of San Francisco and the city of San Francisco.
And I know that there are these business districts. You have workers who are doing public work at $17, $20 an hour. I mean, it seems like it's a union-busting tactic to have these separate districts, and people are doing public work at wages way below public workers.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You know, there's prevailing rate jobs, and you're supposed to be paying prevailing rate to have a sustainable workforce and sustainable living here in San Francisco. It costs a lot to live here. So to make $17 an hour, you got to bus people in from the Central Valley or you know, further south from there, or bring them in from out of state and pay them those low wages. We got to continue to pay them higher wages that we have.
And a lot of those people can't afford to live here. They sleep in their cars. They're homeless. What does it mean when you're doing public work and you're homeless?
It's terrible. It means that it's not working. It means that you're outsourcing to the wrong people. That's what it means.
So what can people do to support you?
Show up. Show up here, show up to the city council meetings when we have meetings with the city officials, and show support for the labor and the local labor here, especially Local 104 and UA 38. You know, they're based right here in San Francisco, and this is a union town. We're homegrown. We want to be here. We want the support of the community. So show up, especially for Local 104 sheet metal workers.
My name is Joy Zan, and I am a city worker here in San Francisco. I'm currently working at the Youth Commission.
And what are your concerns about your work issues and why you're having a rally today?
Yeah, and to be honest, my main concern is actually for the direct services for immigrant communities. I'm an immigrant myself to San Francisco, been here for 19 years, and with all the permanent vacant spots, like, I'm just really concerned that we're not going to have like good bilingual services for our immigrant communities.
And a lot of money is being outsourced to consultants, nonprofit agencies. Do you have a concern about that?
Yeah, and honestly, the city is spending more money outsourcing to these private contractors than just hiring our SF residents and making sure that our SF residents have good paying jobs. But I just want to make sure that it's SF residents serving our SF residents because they know the community the best, and they're able to communicate the best with our SF residents.
The idea of a new contract, getting City Hall to recognize that public service is more important than greed and private industry, because they keep giving tax benefits to all these private companies, and people that work in the city, work for the city, are having a hard time finding a place to live they can afford. So that's why I'm here.
You know, there have been billions of dollars outsourced to consultants, nonprofits. Who's oversighting whether that work is being done?
They're friends. That's straight up, they're friends in City Hall. That's all there is to it.
So you're saying that they're giving it to their friends rather than...
I'm saying that they make friends, they help each other out, but when people that work here complain about something, they'll want to hold a meeting so everybody can go, but they'll hold it at 12 noon when everybody's at work. Muni's very bad about that one.
And also, I understand they're taking away civil service. They want to get rid of Rule of the Three, bring in anyone they want. Are you concerned about bringing in people without qualifications?
It'll be just like San Francisco in the 70s when I was a kid. You know, everybody that had a job was unqualified for it. They fixed it, and now they want to undo it. So I don't see it passing. I really don't see that succeeding.
And the corporatization, privatization of public services, it seems like it's a national problem.
I think it is. I think it may even be more than just the United States. I know it's more than the Bay Area. It's California as a whole. And it's probably most of this country to one degree or another. And it probably stretches out past our borders to other countries where they have that much public service where the government doesn't clamp down on everybody.
And do you think that there should be a charter amendment or a state constitution saying that it's illegal to contract out and outsource to workers when it can be done by public workers?
I think it should be allowed for the public workers to first at least attempt the job, or for them to look into it. And if for some reason there aren't enough qualified people to do it, then they can outsource it. But we should be at the top of the list.
But right now they're outsourcing work that city workers can do. That's what you're saying?
Yeah, but there's also a lack of city workers in a lot of departments. So some jobs we wouldn't be able to do, we don't have the manpower.
Oh, my name is Rina Lopez, and I work for the city of San Francisco. I worked for 10 years. I work for the Department of the Environment. I'm here to support our Local 21 union, to ask our leaders, to help us fix our city. We need to bring more staffing because we are about 37,000, positions who needs to be added. There's a lot of vacancies. In order to add more people, will help us with the city, to clean up, help the mental health problems that we have, homelessness, and bring all kinds of stuff for the city of San Francisco that is essential. Our constituency asked us in general what we need. We need to have our city clean. We need our workers here so they don't have to do jobs, double job, triple job like before. So it's important for us, and I'm here to solidarity with all our members. Thousands are gonna come to ask the city that we need to clean up, fix the city, add more people instead of investing money into private contractors. If they invest into their work as a city, that they bring the city, that we completely help our community, things could be different.
And this outsourcing, contracting out, apparently billions of dollars have been going on to consultants, nonprofits. Is that threatening the getting work done in San Francisco? Because it seems that a lot of jobs now are just done by nonprofits.
No, it's not being done, and that's why we have the people here. We do have people here that they need to invest on us, and we have the capability to do that because for many years we have workers who have been working for 30 years, 35 years in this city. And this city is a beautiful city, and we can do better.
And the issue of privatization is going on not just in San Francisco, it's around the country. Are you concerned? I mean, should there be a law that it's illegal to outsource work that can be done by public workers? Because a lot of these workers that are doing, or say that they're doing the work, are making $17 an hour, $20 an hour. They're not paid the same as a public worker. They're undercutting the public workers.
I know, and again, what we wanted to do is ask to the city the demands. What we need to do is to help us.
What are your demands?
Our demand is to the vacancies that we have to add more people. We have a lot of vacancies that we can help the city to change this. Instead of getting people from outside, what we can do is to have people we already have and not more workers to do the job.
Well, the Department of Human Resources, apparently people have been complaining they don't do testing. They're not filling slots because they're not even doing testing for some classifications. Is that the case as well in your union? Do they do the testing, or are people waiting on lists to get jobs?
There's a lot of positions available to fill it in, and they could do their job. And we're just waiting for them to fill it up, the job. And so, again, we're asking them to continue investing on us and to continue bring more people that we already positions that we have for them to do their job.
Hi, my name is Monique, and I'm a former nonprofit worker. And I'm at the rally today because we want to unite with city employees, because nonprofit workers do public work, but we get paid much lower wages. And also that affects the wages of city workers, because then they can't bargain through their unions for better contracts and benefits for their families.
And the rights of pensions, the other kind of rights that public workers have, you would like that for the kind of work that nonprofit workers are doing?
Yes, exactly. I used to work at Tenderloin Neighborhood Development Corporation, and they laid off almost 20 people on the spot with no notice and no negotiation, no nothing. So if we would have had some union rights, that wouldn't have happened.
And who's doing oversight of your agency and other nonprofit agencies?
Supposedly the city, but they're really not doing anything, because we've contacted the Board of Supervisors, we've contacted the Civil Service Commission. In fact, we came to a Civil Service Commission meeting. We had a press conference and protest, and they told us to go elsewhere. They told us that that they had nothing to do with city funding of nonprofits.
And what, you think they're giving you the runaround?
Absolutely, yeah. We're going to come back though, because they need to hear us, and we're going to keep the pressure up. But yeah.
This idea of people doing public work and not getting public pay, it seems like it's undercutting the whole city workers' workforce.
Absolutely. In fact, in one of our buildings at TNDC, we have, I believe it's 5 social workers in the same building. 4 of those are funded by the nonprofit agency TNDC. The other 1 is funded by the city, and their salary is higher than the nonprofit social workers, but probably not as high as it could be if we all came together and united.
They're doing the same work, but they're different rates of pay.
Exactly, the same work, different rates.
And that must cause a lot of unhappiness. People are doing the same work but getting different rates of pay.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. I don't work in that building, but yeah, I would imagine there's some tension, despite that the workers, we all try to get along with each other because we're doing the same thing, but yeah.
Okay, equal work for equal pay.
That's right, equal work for equal pay.
Proud Local 21 member, and so here in support and solidarity, looking for better wages, making sure that we need to get more jobs, not less. The city's in crisis, and we need to deploy more city workers to fix the problems.
They said at the rally today, thousands of workers they need thousands of workers. There's a shortage of thousands of workers. What's stopping them from hiring the workers?
Bureaucracy, inability to solve that problem, the inability to be able to, not take 2 years to get somebody on the job. I mean, no other city in the country has this, this kind of backlog, so we need to fix it. It needs to be changed. People are demanding it. So,
and also, they said billions of dollars are being outsourced to nonprofits, other organizations. There seems to be a lot of money, unlimited money for outsourcing.
Well, I think that nonprofits have a function, right? But I would say city workers also have a function.
Well, they're doing a lot of city work, these nonprofits. Mm-hmm. They're doing a lot of the city work, the nonprofit workers. I mean, they're doing public work. I mean, but
sure.
they're not getting public pay.
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think ultimately, as much as an issue as that is, I think it's just making sure that we have thousands of vacant positions that need to get filled.
My name is Anthony Ballester, President of Transport Workers Union, Local 250A, Muni Bus Drivers, Cable Car, and Light Rail. And we do represent fare inspectors and disease control investigators also.
And this rally today brought up the issue of staffing, shortages. What's the effect of the city policies on transit workers here in San Francisco?
Okay, now one effect that it had is the staffing shortage. Is that, like I said, we represent disease control investigators. At a height of COVID, they were short on investigators. They couldn't send anybody out, so they tried to outsource people from other counties, other cities, in California, to do the job that we do here, that we know how to do. So they outsourced this, and they're still short of what we call disease control investigators, and of course the investigators that go to restaurants. We give the letters, the grading to the restaurants. There's a shortage on that also. So there is a shortage.
And why is the city refusing to hire thousands of people, which are short?
I don't understand, because for the most part they're already budgeted for it and they have the money. It's like SFMTA, are budgeted for all the employees that they're supposed to have. So that money just sitting around somewhere. So they're not using it. So that might be one reason. I mean, they just keep the money for some reason. I mean, because I do know how SFMTA is structured, because I'm a union operator and now I'm president. So I know that the agency is budgeted for all the people that they don't have.
So if they wanted staff, they could staff?
Yeah, they could, yes. At least as far as I know, as far as SFTA, yes.
But the managers seem to have a free hand not to staff, even though there's a crying need to get staff.
Yeah, I know. The managers, someone is holding them back, because the more we get staff, the more we get funds from the federal government. Because for the most part, our city doesn't run by itself. I mean, with the revenue we're getting here. So we are funded by federal and state government also. So, and the more staffing we have, the more we get. And I guess the city doesn't want any more money, but how the government, they work together, because they're not going to let San Francisco drown. If we get the people here, we will get funding.
And there was a talk here that if you don't get what you need, that there'll be a strike. Is your union ready to go on strike if you have to?
Strike is something different with us, because as far as our constitution of TW, because our mothership, TW International, is in Washington. So there's a lot we got to go through to go on strike. Of course, we don't want to go on strike. And of course, if we have it there, the threat of strike, and if it's possible to go on strike, to get what we've earned, not what we want. Because all city workers earn what they deserve. I don't even like using the word deserve, because they've earned it. They earn respect. They earned a fair living wages. So in a strike, there's a lot of hurdles we got to go through. It's not just I can call a strike and that'll be it. Because there's a process we have to go through.
Today we came together, all the brothers and sisters of SEIU, to join in with the city workers and to help them fight for their cause. I'm a home care worker. I'm out of Santa Clara County, and we have kind of a little bit of a different fight, but together we're bringing our powers all together to help our brothers and sisters, to overcome what they're dealing with here in the city, So here we are.
And home care workers provide a vital service for people, for public workers. You think you should be paid as a public worker? You're doing public work?
Well, that's some really political stuff you're asking me right there. I would say so, but more so, I think that we should be respected, just like public workers are respected. Home care workers don't get that clout. We don't get that. That's the reason why we're not having a retirement plan now, because of the way they're looking at the jobs that we do. And we do the worst of the worst, or the best of the best, whichever category you want to put us in. We do those hard jobs. We're counselors, of course we're healthcare workers, we're bankers, we're everything for our clients, and we're moral support, all of that, okay? And I think that it's got to come together, and people got to really think of what the overall job is that the home care worker does.
A lot of the money comes from public funds to home care workers.
It's a combination of federal, it's local, federal, local, state, and federal funding that pay our program. I've been doing this for 22 years. I've had 6 clients, 3 of them deceased, and the rest I just went through the process, just changing clients and stuff. And I've been through the whole plight of a home care worker. I've taken people off the streets and found housing for them, and they became my clients and stuff. And it's like
that sounds public work. Isn't that public for the public?
Yeah,
that's public work.
Public work, yes, it is. It's just that the bureaucrats or whatever have to actually see and understand. And from all these years that I've been doing this, the only time that there's ever been an understanding is if that particular person has had to deal with health problems within their family. So they could really truly understand it.
And there's a big crisis in this country. Seniors, I mean, a lot of seniors need home care workers, and there's a shortage, there's a struggle to get home care for people, and the nursing homes as well. And what's going to be the solution?
Wow, that's a big thing. I think right now the solution is right now that the unions, because as we come together, okay, in the union now, because before as a home care worker, I was kind of anti-nursing home, because I was ignorant to the fact. I didn't understand that they weren't just places for them to go die. They were places that were for people to go live their last parts of their lives, but they were understaffed. And I didn't understand that until
Got COVID, a lot of these nursing homes, people died, patients and workers.
Yes, so I have a better understanding. I think that us working together with the home care and nursing home workers and having an understanding for our jobs is going to help the overall outlook for the people who come through the system. And here I am. I've been doing this for 22 years, and I'm 63 years old. And come 2 years from now, I'm looking for retirement. And it's been my plight. I came back to advocate for home care workers because we still don't have any viable way of supporting ourselves besides Social Security once we retire, or we may become ill and have to have home care support ourselves. So I'm here to fight for the ability to have a pension plan. And I haven't got down to the particulars of it yet, but I'm fighting to find out why that is. And I think it has to do with the classification of who we are. Because everybody else says, public works you're talking about. Public workers, they have a pension plan. The city workers, pension plans. State workers, pension plan. Federal workers, pension plans. But even though we get paid by all these entities, we still don't have a pension plan. And we take care of the most vulnerable. So I'm back, and I had health issues myself coming back from triple bypass myself. The first time in my life that I had to have someone take care of me. I've always been the care provider. I had my people at the hospital level, SEIU, who did an excellent job at Valley Medical, take care of me, and I got to see what it was like to be on the other side, So I came back, to do work within my union to fight for those benefits, for the people like myself who've been caring for people for a lot of years and just don't have the means to live here in the Bay Area without that extra check. We need that, and we deserve it. Wouldn't you say so?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Natalie G, and I'm with IFPTE Local 21.
And you're having a rally here today, your union and other unions. What are the issues you're here today for?
Yes, so we want to fix San Francisco. We have a severe understaffing crisis here in the city with 3,700 vacant positions. And rather than reinvesting into our workforce, we are paying billions to outside contractors to do the work that city workers to do. That means there are a lot of vacant positions in Department of Public Health, in Department of Public Works to clean our streets, and we need to be able to reinvest back into our city workers so that we can actually make San Francisco thrive.
And one of the issues is oversight. They're contracting out billions. Who's doing the oversight of this money that's being contracted out for jobs?
There isn't much oversight other than the budget process from the Board of Supervisors every annually, but the Board of Supervisors have a very small amount of power compared to the mayor in terms of who has control over the budget. I've been with the city for 6 years. I'm the Chief of Staff for Supervisor Shaman Walton for District 10.
Estoy muy contenta de estar aquí apoyando a los compañeros de la Unión, ya que es necesario un aumento de salario. Es muy importante para todos, ya que California es un estado muy caro para vivir y es necesario un aumento. Muchas gracias. Gracias por el apoyo.
Gracias.